Redskins at Eagles. Marco, what should bettors be looking at?
How will Donovan McNabb be an advantage in this game for the Washington Redskins? What factor will he be? And my take's going to surprise you because I'm going to go opposite what you're going to think.
All right, tell us.
Well, this is being billed as the best fight in Philadelphia since Rocky and Apollo Creed, having Donovan McNabb come back. No question, McNabb's going to enter Philadelphia with a huge, huge chip on his shoulder. The guy feels disrespected. He got traded. Remember, this wasn't a free agent signing. This is a guy
For a second-round pick.
got traded away, 11 years in Philadelphia. And, remember, he had a chip on his shoulder the day he walked into Philadelphia. If you remember, he got booed on draft day.
So a lot of emotion and motivation for McNabb.
What I think is the public's going to look at this game and think, because Michael Vick had a huge game last week, being named the starter after Andy Reid did a reversal. He came out on Monday and named, Kolb the starter and then changed his mind a day later. A lot of questions around that. People are looking
Cobb or Kolb?
Kolb.
You're thinking of the old Steeler lineman, Kolb. John Kolb.
Either way, he's on the bench.
He's a second-string quarterback.
So it doesn't matter now. But the situation being, the average betting public is going to look at the game and think, it's going to be McNabb versus Vick. It's going to be a shootout, two gunslingers. I say it's going to be totally opposite that. And here's why. McNabb knows the Philadelphia defense. So you're going to say that's an advantage for him, to attack it, which would be. And that's the only advantage for the scoring that you have. But the flip side of that is Philadelphia knows Donovan McNabb better than anybody else. They know his tendencies.
So Philly knows McNabb. McNabb knows Philly. So that's probably neutral.
But the tipping point is he also knows the Philadelphia offense, which he can help the game planning with the coaches for how to stop that offense. And that's why I think this game's going to become a low-scoring game, and I think the public is going to look to the over, and there's value because Vegas is going to think that
So
way.
there's three elements to McNabb's knowledge of Philly. Two of them tend towards the under. One of them tends towards the over, which gives you a net under. Additionally, you're right. There has been this situation with Vic of a lot of public attention and positiveness, which is probably creeping the total up a little bit too. So I actually tend to agree with you. I like the concepts behind that. Now, there's a stat getting into the fundamental matchup a little bit here. Is Philly is 1-6 ATS against 3-4 defenses. So it is a situation which is the new rage in the NFL. The Steelers were one of the first. Is the 3-4, and that's a situation where Philly has trouble with it, which would again seem to push towards the under.
Absolutely, but the difference is that was with Vic. That was with McNabb. Is Vic going to be able to handle it a little better?
Well, and that brings up another point, though, and I'm not sure how many of the teams Philly's played this year are 3-4, because some of those would be in the stat too, is the question is how much has the Philly offense changed because of Vic? I was hearing an expert on ESPN talking and saying they're not running as much West Coast, and it's a situation where they're customizing the offense for Vic, which could diminish a little bit McNabb's advantage of his knowledge of the offense. Though I don't think you can convert and change that much so quickly.
Which to me, the ironic part of this whole quarterback carousel, it would have made more sense to me getting rid of McNabb if they were going to Vic from the start. Because Vic is an up.
Well, clearly they thought Kolb, as you call him, and I call him Cobb, is clearly they thought and still I think he is a franchise quarterback. Vic gave no one any indication. Remember, the Eagles were about ready to let him go in the offseason if the trade was right. They said Buffalo could have had him. So, I'm not sure about it. Just everyone's surprised. Let me ask you this: is if Cobb had played all the games up to now and then got hurt on the last play of the last game and Vic was coming in off the street, hadn't played yet, would you like Philly more or less right now?
Well, you know me with the injured player theory. I would like Philly.
But in general, did you strongly think, oh, Michael Vick should be quarterback when the Eagles season started?
When I looked at Michael Vick, honestly,
Because last season he did not perform well. I'm not sure what would have made you think otherwise.
well, let's remember too. I mean, it's almost like an injury. The guy was away from football for over a year. I mean, it's not a light switch to turn it back on and off. I look at Michael Vick, and all I see is a younger, more athletic version of Donovan McNabb. And to me, it would be like, if I got rid of McNabb for Vick, it's like trading your car in for a newer car.
Then you have an interesting perspective because let's be honest, Vic remember the saga, it was months and months, I'm not sure if it was months and months, extended time that Vic wasn't even getting signed. I mean, it was a situation where there was only a handful of teams interested. Now, some of that could have been political too, but there's been a real reevaluation. Now, forget the last couple games of Vic's career in Atlanta. Post-career, there was a real sense that this wasn't a very good quarterback. And that because of his, Sports Center highlight runs, everyone thought, and he was good on video games, everyone thought he was better than he really was. And let's be honest, he's yet to play a really good defense. I don't think the jury's in yet on Vic as an elite starter, even top 50% starter in the league.
Which I think playing Washington this week, he's going to get that test, and another reason why I like the under.
All right, last point that actually backs up your under, kind of interesting. Philly leads the league in sacks. They've gained they've had the most sacks, but Vic leads the league in getting sacked. So both Philly's going to be able to sack McNabb, and it seems like Philly's not able to protect Vic right now, more towards the under. So what's your actual specific projection?
I have the game 23-16. I actually do have Philadelphia winning the game. I have it 23-16, which takes it under the total of 43.5 right now.
Awesome. It's your turn to continue the conversation in the comments section. And next up, we're going to be talking Chicago at the New York Giants. And that's going to be Sunday Night Football.